And this is the draft season podcast. We are back. It's been a minute, a couple weeks, but we here in the streets. It's draft season, so that's why we're here. We got a lot on the schedule today, NFL, and then it's your boy Young Raz coming live from where I often do, Queens, New York. I'm here with my player partners. This is a multicultural episode today, but we're here with my boy Sean. Talk to him.
We in the building, man. Y'all know what it is. Black Twitter's #1 fantasy sports podcast. We in the building, and like I said, it's a joyous afternoon today, Saturday noon. What's it called? What's it called? Mother Nature in NYC has her titties out, so it's always a miraculous feeling. It puts us all in a better mood. So definitely this NFL draft talk should have you guys in a good mood. March Madness going on. I know y'all brackets are busted at this point. That a nigga like me stopped filling out brackets about 5 years ago. So I like seeing the pain from the outside, and as Oral B. Roberts knocks off Ohio State, and the whole timeline just bemoans. I love seeing because that pain. I don't need that pain in my life no more. I'm gonna pass that off to you guys. But yeah, introducing my other brothers that's on here with us today. Y'all know, friend of the show. I got my man Matt Enfield. You know what I'm saying? How you say the the station ID, man? I almost butcher it every time. I'm not gonna hold you.
Well, WSAW. We got
WSAW.
I
said WCW.
Yeah, bro. Nah. Yeah, man. That shit fucks me up. But yeah, man, and also got my brother out here on the show today. Talk some quarterbacks with me today. Got my man Joe Berg. Berg, what's happening, my guy? How you, bro?
What's going on? Long time no talk. Haven't been on the show in a long time when we discussed our player props to begin the NFL season.
Yeah, man.
But we back. We back to have some fun.
Definitely. So Matt, where you want to start? Matt will be hosting the show today, so you can start us off and direct us where we need to go, Matt.
Yeah, no doubt. And obviously there's a lot going on, and there are a ton of quarterbacks to talk about at all levels of the draft. But obviously the new league year started this week. Free agency started. Free agency got underway. A lot of players signed. A lot of trades became official. So I feel like before we jump into some quarterbacks of the future and their film and whatnot, we got to hit on some of these notable moves and just the market in general and where some guys are at and kind of the direction of certain positions, because there are some positions where maybe the movement is a little bit slower than we would have expected with the salary cap crunch and whatnot. But we'll just hit on a bunch of notable moves and how they might affect fantasy football going into next year. So I think the most notable one and one of the most recent ones right off the top is an unexpected one, and that is Juju Smith-Schuster is back with the Pittsburgh Steelers on a one-year deal. I think right around $8 million. He apparently had other offers on the table from the Baltimore Ravens, their divisional rival, who probably could have really, really used him. Give my man Lamar Jackson actual. I'm not going to call Juju number one wide receiver, but he would be the number one wide receiver.
I mean, he would have just been blocking for Lamar anyway. So what are we playing with? He was going to be a edge blocker anyway.
So he had an offer.
Niggas run the wing T.
Huh?
They run the wing T out in Baltimore, man.
Correct. So he had
Shout out Greg Roman.
And then the Kansas City Chiefs, which was a game because I think that could have been a good landing spot for him. But he's back in Pittsburgh. He's probably going to try to recreate some value and then get the bag going to next year. So I threw this out there, just fancy purposes. I threw this out there, and I made Black and Yellow Twitter a little bit upset yesterday when I said our friend Kevin Lewis, who I think is supposed to be jumping on some point, remains to be seen if the Wi-Fi will allow it. Different discussion for a different day. But he said, Juju going back to Pittsburgh with Ben probably going to his last year on the decline would not have been as ideal as him going to Kansas City, let's say. And yeah, he's going to, probably be 30 targets behind Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, but it would have been a better situation. My thing that got Black and Yellow Twitter upset was I said he might be the number 3 in Pittsburgh anyways, behind Deontay Johnson, who probably has the best chemistry with Ben right now and led the team in targets last year. And Chase Claypool, as long as he's there, is going to get all of the high volume, down the field, vertical targets that Juju maybe got a couple years ago when he was playing next to Antonio Brown. So I'm curious. I mean, I'm good on drafting Juju unless it's at incredible value next year. I'm certainly not taking him before I would take Deontay Johnson or Chase Claypool. Where are you guys at with that?
I think we've seen the best or the highest end of what a Juju season might look like in terms of just like the upside that's there. If we had to really like talk about it logistically about his future value, I think Juju's floor is probably what brings it up to you. But if you're just talking about as a dynamic player, somebody who has a like league winner upside, I don't really think that's Juju's like his position to be played inside the actual offense. But he's even as somebody who's not a huge Juju fan, I probably think that as long as Ben his connection with Ben should be pretty stable. So I mean, I think the thought experiment about how Juju might play in Kansas City, that might have to do more of about it's a lot of mouths to feed. So, but like you said, man, I'm not huge on Juju either. But I mean, I think just for stability and from being familiar with the system, I guess that's what he chose in free agency.
Yeah, I'm not mad at him sticking with Pittsburgh strictly off of the comfort level that he has with Ben. But from a non-fantasy perspective, and I get, not going to Kansas City to a degree, but I kind of question it because even if he is, let's say, a third option, you have the cap jumping next year. You sign a 1-year deal. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to put you in position to make a little bit more money than Ben Roethlisberger in the year 2021. So, I mean, that's the only thing for me that I question not going to Kansas City. Like, if your option was to sign a 1-year deal with everyone, I can't see him boosting his numbers this year with Pittsburgh, even with the comfort level, then say I would have just taken the chance with Kansas City for that aspect of it. Shit, even Baltimore.
Yeah,
Like,
but I think yeah. So I think staying in free agency for a moment. Deals that pop out to you guys that come to mind. What do you guys think has been some of the more notable signings so far in free agency? Matt, what comes to mind for you? I know you are the resident Aaron Jones truther on this actual podcast. So I actually did have to say because I did a quick glance at what Aaron Jones put on film for 2020, and we know he had a good season. But the more I watched it, the more I just came away more impressed with Aaron Jones. So his contract value, I think the actual terms are solid. It's not something that I'm going to be losing my sleep over, even though I know anytime a running back gets paid, a baby dies according to PFF. So I'm not losing sleep over the Aaron Jones signing, and I think for a team that wants to win, and it's a decision that I don't think we could talk about how the running back position is replaceable, but and even as somebody who is a fan of AJ Dillon, I think AJ Dillon is a talented back who's going to probably play that lightning role behind or next to Aaron Jones. So I still think he could have value and possibly one day be a starter, but he's not Aaron Jones. He's not going to bring you that same home run threat and big play threat that Aaron Jones did by no means. So I'm not mad at the contract, and I think Aaron Jones actually is a pretty good. He's going to be stable as a first round, early second round pick next year.
I mean, I'm shocked that it actually happened, but he really wanted to be back in Green Bay. And this is what we were having a conversation amongst ourselves when it happened. And I said, I want to see the details of it, which we have friends, Kalu, who didn't want to see the details of it. But I said, let's see the details and then we'll judge it a little bit. Because I'm not usually a fan of paying running backs either. And I went to the offseason saying, where the Packers are at, I'm not sure if they should. But then you get into the nitty gritty of the contract. It's basically a 2-year deal where 2 years from now, if they want to blow it all, they don't win a Super Bowl, they can get rid of him very easily. So while on a principle, I'm not a fan of paying running backs big money, with where that roster is right now, they don't have a ton of holes. I mean, obviously, they probably should add another receiver. I don't know if they will, but I mean, clearly they were the best offense in the NFL last year without a prototypical number 2 behind Devontae Adams. But other than that, they probably need to draft a cornerback. They're probably going to need to draft a tackle in this upcoming draft. But they have enough pieces on the offensive line and the roster in general, and you look at where Aaron Rodgers is in his career, is it a move that this is about as close to going all in as the Packers are going to go, just with the philosophy and how they usually build a team. Re-signing Aaron Jones and maybe making 2 more runs at it with this group, I mean, that's what it is. With where Aaron Rodgers is at in his career, they have a roster that is ready to win right now. And whether you like Aaron Jones or whether you like paying a running back in principle, I don't think there's any doubt that it makes them better going into next season and the year after that. I mean, the only beef I would have had is if you said they could have taken the money to re-sign Aaron Jones and paid Corey Linsley, who was the best center in football last year and ended up getting a pretty big contract from the LA Chargers. Now, if you said they could have used the Jones money to pay Linsley, then I would have had an issue with it, but they couldn't. And Linsley got a pretty nice bag with more guaranteed money. So with where they're at, it comes down to they can't have any more drafts like they did last year, strictly planning for the future. They have to draft a bunch of plug-and-play guys at positions of need in this upcoming draft. That's about as close to going all in as they're going to get.
So I think even staying there for 1 second, quick little lightning round, so we can move on to the quarterbacks and the main entree for the show today. Quick hitters. What do you guys think about these signings? Will Fuller in Miami, Curtis Samuel to the Washington football team, Corey Davis to the Jets, Keelan Cole also to the Jets. Any other notable guys we're leaving out here that you think? Philip Lindsay also went to the Texans. I think that's going to be a pretty good signing for him if he can get his. I think Philip Lindsay might only need around like 200 touches to actually give you a top 15 fantasy back season. What do you guys think about that?
It's funny, Sean. What you actually didn't mention. The one thing that stuck out to me is it is kind of smart that Godwin and Allen Robinson signed their franchise tags, considering how shit the wide receiver market turned out to be for everyone. Because, I mean, they're going to sit here and make, 18, 19 million off that franchise tag, and then the cap's going to go up next year, and they're going to be in position to sign their big deals next year when it's much more likely that they'll get those deals. Because you look at all the deals these wide receivers have signed, and the fact that you got Corey Davis and fucking Curtis Samuel as the two top signings right now, and even those contracts weren't crazy. That's the part that stuck out to me is like those two dudes, they did good by signing those franchise tags. Like fuck it, but out of the names that you mentioned, I mean the Curtis Samuel signing to me was the best get of all of them. I mean Washington still don't got fucking a quarterback. They got me throwing the ball to them, but.
I mean, they got Fitzpatrick. Don't do that. You know,
they still don't have a quarterback. Like you said, they still don't have a quarterback.
Fitzpatrick gonna get loose. I mean, but to piggyback off the Curtis Sam with Terry McLaurin, I think that's a very, very dynamic receiving group. Just with those two, you can't guard that. You can't guard that. I think going down that list, Will Fuller to Miami, concerns me a little bit. But they still got Tua, so I'm not really. No shade at the Tua, but I'm not a Tua guy. So I mean, it's left to be seen how that works. But Will Fuller's a good talent, and if he can stay healthy, he improves. Washington, goddamn it, Miami very well. The Jets, I think the signing of Corey Davis and Cole, instead of going all out for like a Kenny Golladay, gives them a lot more value. I think just getting those two playmakers instead of paying that same money for one is a good job. And like you said, like the wide receiver market is not what we thought it was going to be. So somebody's going to overpay for Kenny Golladay, and I'm just glad it wasn't the boys in green.
I think that the Jets, we went into this offseason with a lot of, I guess looking back on it now, pipe dreams just about what they were going to do with all that cap space. But I think that it's pretty clear that Joe Douglas and company are looking at that roster, and they said, we have too many holes to make a bunch of splash plays at free agency. Let's get some guys on a bargain, like a Corey Davis, like a Keelan Cole. They signed LaMarcus Joyner as a safety. That's obviously not fantasy relevant, but just looking at the roster in general, let's fill as many holes as we can with good players, not the splashy guys on the market, not a Golladay, not an Allen Robinson if he was become available in trade after signing his franchise tag. But let's get a bunch of bargain guys, especially in a depressed wide receiver market, and fill as many holes on the roster as possible. Now, it's not all they can do. They need to build through the draft as well. They need to have a really good draft. And they need to make sure they hit on the quarterback position, which we will touch on later in the show. But I can't say I hate the strategy. There's still more work to be done. But I think they might be in a better spot than if they went out and they spent big money on a Golladay or someone like that. Even if they draft well enough, and Joe Douglas seems like he knows what he's doing when it comes to finding offensive linemen so far. Like a guy like Joe Thuney got paid huge money. And maybe there is a better use of that cap space than on one splash offensive lineman, not at the tackle spot. A couple of other signings I was just going to hit on real quick, a little bit under the radar, in my opinion. I really like Marvin Jones to Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence next to DJ Chark. I mean, Marvin Jones last year, I don't have his exact fantasy numbers in front of me, but for the last couple of years in Detroit when he had Matthew Stafford throwing the ball, when he would go off, he would give you some really nice boom numbers, and he was a pretty consistent player. So, I mean, if Trevor Lawrence is what the Jaguars hope to be, and if Urban Meyer can implement the system he wants, then I think that he could once again provide some good value there. And the Jaguars, once again, could have a pretty nice receiver room when you think about Laviska Shenault in that room as well. The Los Angeles Chargers lose Hunter Henry to New England, but they signed Jared Cook. And I think that Jared Cook is not that big of a drop-off from Hunter Henry. I mean, he's obviously older and age is going to catch up to him. But look at the contract that they gave Jared Cook compared to what Hunter Henry got from the Patriots. I kind of like that for the Chargers, to be honest. And then one more comes to mind fantasy-wise in terms of this signing is going to depress the value of someone else that everyone else is really high on. Jamal Williams to the Lions, which, I mean, much love to Jamal Williams, awesome dude. But, like, what does this do for DeAndre Swift now? Like, if you're a DeAndre Swift dynasty owner, you're looking at that backfield.
Not worried.
I'm not worried either.
Not worried. But I do think I think Jamal Williams is probably he's gonna play the Adrian Peterson to carry out Johnson role for next year. I don't think both of those guys are probably not gonna be on that roster next year. So I think Jamal Williams is gonna play more of the power back to DeAndre Swift. But I think from what we saw from Swift last year and how they used him as a receiving threat, I think if they're gonna do that same thing for next year, I don't think Jamal Williams is gonna eat into that unless Swift, if he has like recurrent concussion problems or injuries, that's probably will lead to that. But I don't think as like definitive RB1 is a legit threat Jamal Williams signing. I think the last free agency point I think we want to touch upon Jonnu Smith to the Patriots along with Hunter Henry. Cam Newton also resigned in New England. So I guess we get bookended right here as we get into the quarterbacks. What are you guys thinking of New England signing? They also signed Nelson Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne, I believe. So what are you guys making of New England's fantasy aspect in their signings this season?
I'm good on Jonnu and Hunter until proven otherwise, to be honest. Like I might end up drafting one of them as a second tight end just because tight end was such a fucking cesspool last year. But it does make sense because like Belichick loves owning the middle of the field. And I mean, way too many people have thrown out the Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez comp to Jonnu and Hunter Henry. Neither of those guys, while Jonnu is supremely talented, especially, are that. They are not going to fill that role in the same way. But I would have to. I'm not done on Cam Newton yet, but he burned me in too many fantasy leagues last year for me to have any sort of confidence in pass catchers there. So, like I said, if one of them falls really far, then I might take one of them. But I think I'm good on that. That they threw a bag at Kendrick Bourne relative to what I thought he was going to get. Like, not that like Kendrick Bourne like sucks, but I mean, like they paid him much more than I thought he would. And Aguilar, you're just hoping that he continues that boom from last year, which is possible, I guess, but I don't know that I would count on it.
I don't know how to feel right now about the Patriots. I feel like they made so much. I'm not used to the spending, right? In my adult life, the spending hasn't happened from the Patriots at all. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, it's a new technique for them. I need to see how it plays out. Like Bill isn't no idiot, so he knows how to get these players and how to use them for what he wants. But it's just like some of these prices he paid, like Nelson Aguilar, like Nelson Aguilar is okay, right? Like if he has a quarterback that can get him the ball, I mean, and we all love Cam, but Cam is not MVP Cam right now. Can this bring it back? Maybe, but it's just like, Jonnu Smith is never healthy. Hunter Henry also never healthy. So I mean, he's taking a lot of bets on this. I think his best signing may have been Judon, but like again, he might have overpaid for Judon too. So it's just like he might have overpaid for a lot of players in a year in which if he sat, he probably could have got more steals than he usually gets. So I didn't understand the aggressive spending on day one for the Patriots this year.
I'm gonna assume they think Cam has more left in the tank than most people do if they surrounded him with what they surrounded him with and spent that fucking amount of money, considering they did overpay for all of them. Like I like Jonnu Smith. I don't think Jonnu Smith is worth $12.5 million a year. I don't think Nelson Aguilar is worth the deal that he signed. But I mean, clearly they must think Cam has more left in the tank than most people do. So I mean, I have more confidence in Cam this year now than I did last year, because last year he was surrounded with this podcast throwing the ball to. So I mean, I don't feel like fully discouraged in terms of Hunter Henry and Jonnu, but I mean I'm not gonna go out of my way to draft them either.
I don't think
I
there's
think the only
no doubt about it in my mind. Like, there was a lot of hoopla made about their moves this week. There is still zero doubt in my mind that the Buffalo Bills are the favorites in that division as we stand here today. Zero question.
Yeah, so I think the only, like, if I was to try to get into what they're thinking about these signings, I think Cam has had success throwing to bigger bodied receivers in his past. We talk about guys like he for we can make jokes about Kevin Benjamin and Devin Funches as we do on the show. But Cam used those guys to the best of his ability. I think he got as much as he could have got out of those guys as possible. I think those guys just were pretty slow. Even somebody like a Greg Olsen, Cam always had a great connection with Greg Olsen. So I just think this team is more talented than they were last year. They're going to need a draft, and I guess on a certain end, Bill Belichick's skill position history has not been pretty recently, to say the least. So I think they're getting a couple guarantees, and even if Nelson Aguilar had a pretty damn good season last year, and I know we can make jokes about it, and he played with a real quarterback in Derek Carr, and he put up a career year. So I mean, I'm not a huge Aguilar fan, but I'm not gonna write off him being able to find success as a let's say as a flanker, X 2-3 guy, number 2 or 3 option on the team. I think it might be possible for him to write offense. Apparently, Bill's seen something that could possibly get the best out of him, but it's to be seen. So I do think we can move on to get into what the people came in today, which is the NFL draft. We have actually a pretty interesting crop of quarterbacks in this class. I think COVID-19, put a whole monkey wrench into the last season, and it's definitely made the quarterbacks hard to actually analyze than it would be in a normal year. A lot of these guys are pretty inexperienced, and we did talk about this earlier, but a lot of these guys have a lot of talent, but a lot of them don't have long track records actually, playing at that high level. So it's gonna make it a little interesting. But before we do get into this, I did want to start off with a couple of these rules that I wrote down for like just how I'm scoping out the NFL draft, because as these pundits and the actual field of draft Twitter actually expands, we get more people, we get more voices that's actually breaking down these players. And for a long time, we've noticed, and it's been even more obvious over the past few years about the discrepancies and the weaknesses in the actual parts of the NFL draft that teams, scouts, and executives actually get wrong, not seeing, not actually getting the best out of these quarterbacks. So one rule I had for 2021.
Galladay to the Giants, 4 years, 72, max 76, 40 million guaranteed.
All right, I like Kenny Galladay a lot, but $72 million is kind of ridiculous. But I mean,
a lot of money. Keanu Neal to the Cowboys as well, unfortunately. Sorry, Sean. Go ahead.
Fuck.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta. What was the numbers on the Galladay contract? We recorded live.
Is the breakdown out yet in terms of what they're paying him this year and what he's getting as a signing bonus? Because that's been a big thing with contracts this past year, where the cap hit for the year might be $5 million, but they're getting a $14 million signing bonus and shit like that. But at the end of the day,
40 mil guaranteed. 40 mil guaranteed. I think it's
4 for 72 is kind of crazy for me. But at the end of the day, you need a number. No. Listen, I'm not mad at the player. It's just that's a big deal. But I mean, listen. I'll tell you one thing: Daniel Jones has no excuse anymore. There's no excuse.
Yeah, I think the opportunity cost was too much for the Giants to pass up. I think they even made moves to actually, and we could get into the Gettleman era and what's worked out and what hasn't worked out. He's made a lot of these. Raz, you good?
No, I wanted that Keanu Neal pack. I needed him at weak linebacker, man, weak side, bro. That shit would have been great.
I think even with, like I said, we talk about the opportunity cost. Gettleman has made a lot of these moves to where he's picked up additional picks. So that's supposed to give you the flexibility to splurge and get not take the discount on the lower tier guys and to go out and get the best receiver on the. I mean, the best receiver on the market. Honestly.
No, he's the best. Yeah, he is the best.
Yeah, because the other guys weren't on the market. So Godwin, Allen Robinson weren't on the market. So I do think, opportunity cost, like you said, Daniel Jones has no excuses.
Listen,
so
he's got everything around him now. I mean, the only unfortunate is he has Jason Garrett around him, but
for also the accuracy issues that Daniel Jones can have, somebody like Kenny Galladay,
it's gonna go up and get it.
He erases a lot of. He gives you like a huge target radius to really throw to.
Also, even though I know Matt, I was talking a little negatively about Slayton the other day. This also makes Slayton more of a weapon.
Better. And it's the receiving core fits. Everybody does.
Shepard isn't dependent on to be your number one anymore.
Was on the Jets.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a good sign.
Exciting move. It's an exciting move. I'm not mad as a Giants fan. We got our number one finally. So
we finally got a number one. Finally got a replacement for Odell. So that's you love to see it. And Kenny Galladay, bro, the last time he was healthy, he was the top 10 receiver in the league. And so those type of guys don't
top 5 fantasy years ago.
Yeah, so those type of guys don't reach free agency.
Yeah, he was averaging 1,100 yards, 8-9 touchdowns a year. So I mean, you're not mad at it. It's just a lot of money. You got to hope he stays healthy, and that's all that matters when it comes to this deal.
So yeah, I think getting back into these quarterbacks before the news broke. Do you know who broke that news, Matt? Was it Josina?
Yeah, it was Josina.
It was Josina. Shout out to that queen. But yeah, getting into these quarterbacks. So I think a couple notes I just wanted to talk about as overall talking points for the class at large, because these are when you really break into the film and we watched all these guys, so we're going to give you guys the takes of what we saw about the top guys in this class. But when you actually watch these guys very closely, a lot of the things that they have to work on, it's similar issues that quarterbacks have to work on when they get to the next level. So I hear a lot of, he has to process the field quicker. One read quarterback, they'll talk about how when you get to, you talk about Bama, you talk about Clemson, you talk about Ohio State, these guys, their offenses, they scheme guys wide open. And sometimes you see this. Sometimes, I think about this with Mahomes, quite frankly. That first year, I just think about it. Andy Reid's offense and how he stretches the defense. And it's the same thing Kyle Shanahan does in the best offensive minds. They stretch teams out. And when the scheme is so effective, a lot of times you see, it's not a hard read for your guys if you're actually comfortable within the offense. If especially at college, if we're talking about college level quarterbacks, the best of the best are guys that you're going to expect to make 2-3 reads per play. That's what Joe Burrow was doing last year. Joe Burrow is an elite quarterback prospect. He did that in a year. You don't see that normally from guys that normally come out. So when I talk about that, we talk about being a system quarterback as it's the bad thing. And I think that's a connotation we kind of got to get rid of, man, because honestly, all these guys are system quarterbacks, except for the elite of the elite NFL quarterbacks. After you get outside of the maybe 3 or 4, I think most of these guys need the proper scheme fit to actually have success in the NFL. So I think that's just one thing I want to talk about, because specifically when we get into this Justin Fields talk, Justin Fields has been torn apart a lot, and I'm a huge Justin Fields fan. He is not perfect, but I do think he's shown over his 2 years at Ohio State to be, a talent that doesn't come into the league often. And, a lot of the talking points about Fields have been pretty weak, which is why I wanted to lead to that. Because, another point is that, let's talk about, Raz, you are a Jet fan. Matt, you are also a Jet fan. We spoke about this man earlier. We are all very versed in the work of one Ryan Fitzpatrick. We've watched that guy play for a long time. When he came into the league, 2004, he's not a rookie at all. He's been around for a while. So can we just can we do a quick little name association with Ryan Fitzpatrick as a thrower? Does he make? Basically what I'm asking is Ryan Fitzpatrick a good decision maker with the football? Does he make good reads consistently?
It's you rolling the dice for sure. He
does he just say Does he just throw it up and say fuck it sometimes?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Matt, would you confirm?
Yeah, often.
I don't. And also, I don't know if you guys knew. Did you guys know that he went to Harvard? Breaking news. Did you guys know that? He's a Harvard alum. Did you guys know that about Roger Becker?
Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with his schooling.
Now, Raz, let me bring it all together now. Have you ever heard anybody question his processing ability as a white man that's going to Harvard, but as somebody who throws the ball loosely into coverage? Can he? If we're talking about intelligence as a floor player, I don't necessarily think if you can't read a defense, it makes you dumb. It's two different things. But do people question his processing ability to read the defenses? Is that ever a conversation?
Not as much as it should be. I've heard the convo once or twice, but if we're talking about processing, that's probably something we need to talk about often with that man. I mean, but the way they make it seem, he's a gunslinger, man. He's fun to watch, man. But like good Fitzpatrick is good. Bad Fitzpatrick is probably one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen. So it's just like he doesn't ever play his basement, the floor on that guy is so low that it doesn't even matter what the ceiling is.
Yeah, so I say all that to say this, specifically with Justin Fields, and this is something that happens with black quarterbacks. So I'm just saying to be aware of it because it's a dog whistle and it's not good analysis. And this is not me saying that Justin Fields is a perfect prospect. He's not, and we're gonna get into his weaknesses in a second. But talking about he struggles to process the field, I feel like we can say that for I can write that note down for all of these quarterbacks if I wanted to. That's something that's a universal for quarterbacks, and that's just my only thing as we get into this discourse about Justin Fields and these quarterbacks. That one bothered me because I don't think that's a good way, and it's how guys like Lamar, it's how these guys fall through the cracks because they look as a black quarterback as not having the mental capacity to run an NFL quarterback and to run an NFL offense, and that's BS. And I think we've evolved past that. So I'm off my soapbox now, and we can't get into these quarterbacks. So I think the floor is yours about where you guys want to start with. I started with Justin Fields. So if you guys want to start there, if you want to start with Lawrence,
we can stay on Fields. We can stay on Fields.
Stay on Fields.
For me, you brought up the weakness aspect in terms of the bullshit that's always spewed about black quarterbacks. For me, the weakness that I have with him, and I'm a massive Fields fan. Like Fields, I have Fields my number 2. Me and Sean have spoke about this. I love Fields since high school. We were watching his high school throws. You saw he's the type of player that, when you see throws being made as a 16, 17-year-old, you know it. You know that what that quarterback is. Only thing I think he needs to improve on is he's not that great against the blitz. Like he definitely struggles against the blitz. He sometimes in what I've watched, he'll have the moments where he'll wait until the receiver is wide open to throw the ball instead of just anticipating when his receivers are going to be open. And, he holds onto the ball a little long sometimes. But in terms of people questioning his mental capacity, if he could lead a team, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
He's a leader, man.
It's ridiculous to me.
It's Bill Foley and shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's nonsense. And then, you talk about him as a passer. Like, he never gets enough credit for how accurate he is. He's accurate as fuck. He's got a rocket arm. And of all the quarterbacks, you luckily have that the 3 big quarterbacks in this draft are all athletic. But the funny thing with him, like, he almost like forgets how athletic he is, which is kind of crazy because that dude, if he wanted to, he could give you 1,000 yards on the ground if he wants to, but he's not going to.
I'm sorry. I hate to cut you off.
Talk to me.
You were spitting.
Yeah, you were spitting. These are all great analysis, but I know you see what's happening on your screen right now.
Is that my brother?
K-Lou has joined us.
My brother?
K-Lou has joined us. What kind of shirt you got on today? Is that a robe?
This is a Mariota jersey.
Oh,
a Mariota jersey. God.
Bro,
Jesus Christ.
You love came on here wearing a backup quarterback jersey.
You love a Jamaican flag draped around you, bro.
He was good at Oregon. I don't care what he's doing now.
You love your mediocre quarterback.
Put on a Jameis jersey at least. Come on, man.
Yo, somebody. What, bro? Mariota couldn't throw from the hash to the hash in college, bro. But I mean, look, the jerseys are cool. it did look like a Jamaican flag or robe or
I thought you was
jacket.
drinking in all. Yeah.
You come and drinking Ray and F.
He said you got a
I don't
robe
know.
on?
I don't know what's going on, bro. I mean, you got a beanie on.
Oh,
Wi-Fi is good today, though. Wi-Fi is good. You know,
Word,
that's
word.
a mahogany.
Don't get too far ahead of yourself.
Mahogany wardrobe in the background and a Mariota jersey.
You got a robe on?
Yo,
But yeah,
but I mean, yeah, Berg, you continue what you were saying.
Yeah,
about
go ahead,
Fields.
my fault,
we,
bro.
we was on Justin Fields, Caleb.
Yeah, the thing for me that's crazy about him that just doesn't get talked about. And if I know, like on Twitter, you had the recent, video of him with his 4.4, and then people saying, he could get into the 4.3s. But I mean, his athleticism is insane to me. It's genuinely insane. Like he could be a 1,000-yard rusher as a quarterback if he wants.
Yeah.
But he's a great quarterback, man. Like I want him as my quarterback on my team.
Yeah. Raz and Matt, thoughts?
Raz, you go.
Yeah. I mean, look, I have my notes here. Should I read them? Probably, but I'm not. Here, I think with Justin Fields, for a while, I like Sean said, we sit here and we're conditioned to listening to, oh, he's not processing the field, he's not making those reads, but he makes plays, right? He's dynamic. The nigga got an arm. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to curse, but the guy has an arm. He has an arm. He's dynamic. He's an athlete. He throws people open for what I've seen. Like people aren't. Like he throws people open. Like the anticipation on the throws is something that you can't teach that. I think that's something that a lot of these quarterbacks in college you struggle with. Like he throws people open. The upside on him is amazing. I think the upside on having an athlete like that as your quarterback is incredible. I think what it comes down to is he needs to land in a place that will not make him conform to a system, but build the system around him. I think that's the only issue. Like if you draft him at, wherever you're going to draft him, whether it's, number 2 with the Jets or, top 5, whoever's going to take him, I think you need to just build your system around him. I mean, he's that much of an investment.
Yeah, so I think one more thing. Yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I think that any team that drafts a quarterback in the first round, any team that wants to build around a young quarterback in general, the thought that you need to make that quarterback, the thought that you need to make the quarterback fit your scheme instead of fitting your scheme to the talent is outdated, it's archaic, and it's not a good way to build a successful franchise. Justin Fields, listen, Jets draft Justin Fields at number 2, I'll be fine with it. I'll be totally fine with it. Rocket arm, dynamic athlete, can create the open field. I don't know how anyone could watch what he did against Clemson in that semifinal game and the show he put on especially after he took that hit over the middle, got the shit knocked out of him. Sorry. Couldn't even ride a stationary bike.
You can let the curses.
Why are we apologizing?
No,
that's not the podcast. I just complicated to know.
Shit's okay.
I figure out.
Yeah, I apologize for another word though.
That's the word that I am not going to use. But
yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Get back to the point though. He couldn't even ride a stationary bike on the sideline, and he just came out there and he tore a Clemson defense that's been really good the last couple of years, not as strong this past year, but tore them to fucking shreds with big time throw after big time throw. And there are a couple things like beyond even just the physical traits that stood out to me about that game. The toughness one, like I said, to take that hit and to continue doing what he did, but you could tell in the lead up to that game that it pissed him off to no end that Clemson ended their season in that semifinal game last year, and he came out like a man possessed. And that is something you cannot teach. That fire and that desire. And these all sound like old white cliches, but at the end of the day, there is something to having that competitive spirit and getting pissed off when a team beats you and coming back and tearing them to shreds the next year. So, yeah, I mean, if you weren't sold on him before that Clemson game, and I know he wasn't great in the national championship game, but that Alabama.
I thought he just didn't have enough of him. I didn't think he was bad in that game. I didn't think he was bad in that game.
But he was he put on a show for the ages. And he did.
I mean, he's tough. I think what you got to look at is he's just so tough. That kid is tough. I think that's one of those things where quarterbacks don't ever really get that label, but he's tough. Now, if you want to get critical, we can get critical. He might hold the ball a little bit too long. You know, hit
I
the
think
blitz.
main-
The blitz gives them the happy feet. But these are things you can clean up.
No, I agree.
And
I was
that's
gonna say, the one
every
thing-
quarterback. Every quarterback sees the blitz and gets happy feet. I could pull up Trevor Lawrence film of him doing the same thing. I think even one thing about he's
Sean, I was gonna say real quick, the one thing about film that like I think part of like his mechanical woes at times, or you said he gets happy feet against the blitz. I think that's kind of the opposite when he's standing in a clean pocket. His lower half gets a little bit stiff, but that's an easy fix. But I think that's where some of that stuff actually stems from. But
I think he's absolutely, and I think Fields as a quarterback, he's ridiculously square as his top throwing mechanic. So he's able to rocket the ball, and even like I've seen him when we talk about how tough he is. Yeah, man, he's a competitor, and I've seen him stay in the pocket and deliver a strike with a safety coming down on him. Justin Fields is taking some ridiculous hits at Ohio State. So like his toughness is not something I'm questioning. Go ahead, Matt.
The thing about him,
the thing about him
too that we spoke about earlier before we were live, he's not 6'3", 200 pounds like Zach Wilson. He's 6'3", 225. Like he's not a small dude.
Bill.
He's a big motherfucker. So it's like you're a big motherfucker who is athletic like that, and you could throw the ball. Like of all of the quote unquote athletic quarterbacks that have come out in the last 5-10 years,
He might be the best thrower.
He's the best thrower of the ball, and he's not 5'6" like Kyler Murray. Like
I think even
come on,
Kalu,
man.
did you have anything you wanted to add on this?
Oh, about future Justin Fields, you mean? Oh,
No. You're drafting Zach Wilson, but it's cool to have this conversation about Justin Fields.
I don't expect the Jets to draft a black man. I definitely don't. So, I'll make it Jets unlikely. Because why not? I feel like the Jets are in a great spot, which means they're gonna fuck it up. But whatever. I feel like they're in a great spot. They can't really get this wrong. Like you have two choices, you pick one of them, and we all live happily with them.
We said that 3 years ago.
We had the conversation before. The only way that they
said that 3 years ago
is if Sam Darnold is their quarterback week 1 next year. With all due respect to Sam, but that's
not saying that this is likely, but if the Jets take Mac Jones, like no, they take Trey Lance, I could talk myself into it. Zach Wilson, same thing. Justin Fields, same thing. They take Mac Jones, no.
I think if I can just add on real quick, I think what pisses me off almost as much as like you threw out the racist dog whistle about processing Fields and does he have the mental capacity to play a position, because that's an old stereotype that needs to go away. And the more and more black quarterbacks that come in and run this league, it's going to go away eventually. But maybe just as lazy.
That's the difference.
He's a quarterback that went to Ohio State.
Thank you, Matthew. That was my next point. Because I wanted to. Yes, that's
Who are we comparing him to? Cardell Jones?
No, even the coming off the if this happened in a non-Dwayne Haskins year, maybe the scrutiny for Fields wouldn't be as rough. But Haskins didn't put him in a great situation. On Haskins, because I do think Haskins is. If we talk about the Ohio State quarterbacks over the years, the Urban Meyer guys, we can run through it real quick. We got Braxton Miller, we got Terrell Pryor, we got JT Barrett, Troy Smith, Joe Boltzmann, I forget what his name is. Those guys were all
quarterbacks. Cardell Jones' entire draft stock was made up off of 3 of the best games of his life at the most opportune time. That is his entire draft stock.
Yeah, so I even think, yeah. So like you said with those guys were athletes playing quarterback. They did not possess the arm talent that Justin Fields had by any means. Like Justin,
Dwayne Haskins, for example, like I think Dwayne Haskins is a real quarterback. Don't get me wrong. I think Dwayne Haskins, by all accounts, has shown
back up probably from what we see.
Right, but I think the problem with Dwayne Haskins is clearly that he does not invest the requisite time to be a high-level NFL quarterback with some of his.
I don't even want to attack his work ethic. I'm not even going to do that. Because with Haskins, if I'm just comparing him to Fields, and I watched Haskins' film coming out pretty closely, and I was a fan coming out, so that's when I got to take on the chin, because I was higher on him. If I probably would have took him over Daniel Jones. So that's not something. I'm not going to sit here and act like unholy or act like a lot of people, I would probably say like 75-80% of people would have took Haskins over Daniel Jones at the moment. So like that's not to, that's just admitting it and to learn what we learned from it. But when I went back and I watched some of what Haskins did over in Ohio State, he wasn't killing you vertically like Justin Fields was. There was a lot of dink and dunk. It was a lot of, he had a really good tempo to his short game, and he was throwing to guys like Terry McLaurin. He was throwing to Paris Campbell that year. Those are guys. Paris Campbell hasn't got a chance to really blow up in the NFL yet, but these are rack kings, and J.K. Dobbins was on that team, I believe. And Ohio State has a massive skill position advantage over the rest of the Big Ten, so it makes sense why those guys made him look better. But yeah, he wasn't killing guys over the top like Justin Fields. Like that's just one thing that I feel like I can't get over. Like Berg says, he puts the ball in pinpoint location down the field. I think he's by far the best downfield passer in this draft. Even to Wilson and Trevor Lawrence, who have their own abilities to make those really great plays. I also think Justin Fields is probably the best. He's extremely comfortable rolling out on the bootlegs. So I think that type of pro style action is going to be something where he's really comfortable with. I think Justin Fields throws the best out route out of all these quarterbacks. If you see,
he doesn't. But that's my thing. But that's my thing with Fields. Like this is what I love and what I hate about him at the same time. He's young, so we can clean all that up. But like Fields, he'll push that shit the hell downfield. Like he'll push it, and at time because his arm is so good and he's so good at throwing that ball. Sometimes he does not take the easy throw and he goes, all right, so I think, fuck it, let me toss it downfield.
That's my thing with him. And I think number one, I can't. As he slides down people's draft boards, it's crazy to me because I'm like, bro, he does so much stuff. He does so much stuff like what's it called? Like a Deshaun Watson, like Cam. He's a mixture of both of those guys and what they bring to you. Probably even more advanced than somebody like his stats are similar to what Deshaun did at Clemson. You can pull it up and they're both similar. They both put up great numbers. Deshaun Watson had a I have it here in front of me.
Sean, can I cut you off for a minute?
Go ahead, brother.
I want to tell you, I'm about to go have a great meal and get very drunk and enjoy the rest of this weather. I want to say,
can I get one Trevor Lawrence steak before we get out of here?
Trevor Lawrence, the best prospect since Andrew Luck. There's no question he's the number one quarterback. It is what it is. Sunshine. Future All-Pro. We don't need to discuss them. Matt, don't let these men lie to you about Zach Wilson when you discuss him.
I got you, bro.
All right. I appreciate you guys. I love you. Best podcast
appreciate
around.
You, bro.
All right.
Yes,
I'll
sir.
see you guys later on.
Joe.
Yes, sir.
So I think where was I on that? So he does so much things wonderfully, man. And I think like even people talk about him not going to do his progressions. Ohio State runs a lot of their receiver routes are option routes. So, like, I know, like, that's very hard to take up on film. It might look like he's staring a guy down, but if you have to watch how a receiver is reading the defender, that's a bang-bang type of thing. So, I can definitely understand why it looks like that. Even Justin Fields, I've seen him. His arm is so strong that even if he glances towards the right, and if he holds the safety for a second, he can just whip it over the safety's head and it doesn't even matter. So, I think when you're making throws like that, that's just insane. And yeah, man, I think. Hold on, I wanted to read. I gotta pull it up. So I have a Deshaun Watson scouting report from when he came out, and tell me if this is what you like. Does this sound familiar? Because it sounded familiar when I read it.
It's the same thing.
It said so real quick. It says for Deshaun Watson coming out. It says relatively slow post snap processing speed. I don't think that's an issue for him anymore. More interested in taking and throwing deep balls than reading the concept out of the play. Basically saying locking in on his number one option. They said the same thing about Justin Fields. Overall, not as accurate as he should be considering your style of play. I feel like people might say that about Justin Fields as well. And he played with elite playmakers around him at Clemson. We'll have to learn how to function without big play receivers on the outside. That's exactly what everybody's saying about Justin Fields right now. So, you know what I'm saying? I think as we get into Trevor Lawrence right now, I think those two guys are equals. I think it's a toss-up. I'm not mad at either person if you have Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields one. My final point as we get to the Trevor Lawrence conversation, like I said about them being equals, those guys were rivals in high school. They were rivals at the QB camps. They were the only thing, and I guess one last Fields thing about him still being needing additional reps and about a lot of these guys being works in progress. And I think the number one guy that teaches that lesson is Josh Allen. So I think it's very tough to look at somebody today and say that he can't solve those issues because, Josh Allen could barely complete a screen pass. If you're looking at if you found the right film and you watched it, you would have thought he would have been in NFL Europe, and what we saw today would have been out of rebel possibility. So I think we have to see these guys as incomplete works in progress. So yeah, with Fields, that's my last thing on him. He was equals, and if we talk about the two matchups against Trevor Lawrence, I personally think he outplayed him in those two games head to head. Particularly, I know for sure this year. And I think in last year's game, Clemson got the victory at the end. But I think the most impressive performance was definitely Fields this year. And I think Trevor Lawrence's running ability is actually he made plays with his legs in that game against Ohio State last year. And I kind of think that's why they ended up winning that game. Not so much his even though he made some good passes in the fourth quarter. But let's get into Trevor Lawrence. Who wants to start us off here? Trevor Lawrence, take it away.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
So I'm assuming all of y'all have Trevor as quarterback 1, right?
Yeah.
I'm a coward. I'm a coward. So
yeah.
I'm not a coward. That's not what we're on this podcast for, to be cowards. We're not here to be cowards.
Justin Fields is my QB1. I think the way I look at it, however, is I think coming into this class, and as we get into Zach Wilson, as we get into Trey Lance, as we get into Mac Jones, I think Trevor Lawrence is easily coming into this class as the most polished and day one ready quarterback. I think this is one of those cases where that doesn't necessarily mean when the grass is settled and the picture is actually painted and everything's coming together. I think there's a better chance than is being given that he's not the best quarterback. So if we're just comparing upside, I think if Zach Wilson hits him, he does everything right. If Trey Lance works out where he needs to work out, if Justin Fields works out where he needs to work out, those guys, all three, have comparable upsides and ceilings that I could say if they work out what they need to be worked out. I think this is a class to where that number one spot is to be determined, and it's not a slam dunk like the discourse has been for the past 16 to 18 months. As amazing as a prospect that Trevor Lawrence is.
Well, I think he's because of the floor and the readiness from day one. I think that it's pretty hard to say he's not a slam dunk to be the number one overall pick. Now, the long-term picture is...
I think he's going number one.
Yeah, right. I don't think that, I think the Jaguars front office would warrant being fired if they didn't take Trevor Lawrence number one overall because of how safe of a pick he is combined with the upside. I don't think he's as bulletproof a prospect as has been made out to be. I think he's really good. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a big part of me as a Jets fan that is really upset that Trevor Lawrence is not going to be wearing green and white next year. Don't get me wrong. But, I mean, he does, I think that the decision-making at times can be a little bit questionable depending on the defense and whatnot. But, I mean, he can make every throw you want him to make. He's tough as shit. He's athletic as hell. And I think that he has been a pro-ready quarterback for the last 2 years, and now we're finally going to get to see it in action. But I don't think he's as bulletproof as maybe, let's say, Andrew Luck was coming into the league.
I don't think he's better than Joe Burrow coming out. I don't think he's better, and I think that might be controversial to some, but I just think, I think as a
That's pretty hot.
Bro,
that's pretty hot.
No, it's not. It's not. I don't think it's hot because Matt, I told you I said that's how high I am on Joe Burrow. We had this discussion before we played the game. I said Joe Burrow's already better than Sam Darnold. That wasn't a discussion to me. From what I saw, nothing I saw last year would move me off that. And even before Burrow got hurt, I saw a lot of the same characteristics that made me feel that strongly in this. And if I'm comparing him to Trevor Lawrence, who I think Lawrence has a better arm, but if I'm talking about ball placement, I don't think he's as good as placing that ball in a basket as Joe Burrow. I just think, and Trevor Lawrence has ability. He's serviceable at that. He's probably better than that Serviceable probably isn't the proper word for that. But I do think he needs to improve. That's one thing. I think, like you said about him not being bulletproof, he's gotten the free pass over these past couple of years. And it's not, this happens. The longer you stay in college, the more you're gonna get nitpicked. That happens to every quarterback. It happened to Matt Leinart. It happened to a bunch of guys. It happened to Matt Barkley as well. There's a bunch of guys that get nitpicked the longer they stay in school. But I do think one thing, and this is a problem that guys with cannons have. Justin Fields has this problem as well, and Trevor Lawrence has this as well. To where he believes in his arm so much it gets him into trouble. I think as a thrower, he also does have some mechanical flaws. I think I was expecting him after. I think that's probably what it is. Watching Joe Burrow's film and what he did last year compared to Trevor Lawrence, and that's kind of why I have him below. If we're just talking about how we throw the ball downfield, because I think his ball placement was a little more sporadic than was ever said, to be honest. That's my point. I'm not saying he has good enough ball placement. He can make every throw to the outside hash. One thing that I've noticed with Trevor, and we do have some film on it. I don't know if we could pull that up. We can probably start going through some of the film that we have if you're watching on the Periscope. One thing about Trevor is I think he has a habit of drifting on his back half, and that can lead him to sailing some balls. So I think he has a great arm. He over relies on it sometimes. This is definitely something that can be cleaned up as he gets older. And like I said, guys with great arms definitely over rely on it. But yeah, man, I don't think, like you said, he's not being picked apart at all. And I think there's some matchups that I think he put on film that could give you a little more scrutiny than he's actually being given credit for right now. That's been my thing with Trevor Lawrence, and I think he's going to be phenomenal at the next level. I'm just actually talking about what he needs to improve on. Raz, you don't got any thoughts for us?
Well, Trevor Lawrence, no. Like, what do we like? I have zero. Like, I feel like Trevor Lawrence is one of those guys where it's like, look, we can sit here and if we look at him long enough, we can find the ugly, right? I mean, whatever little that may be, but I mean, the media and everyone has conditioned us to go, this is the number one quarterback. Like, this is who he is. This is the best prospect.
Yeah, that's my beef. That's my beef.
So my thing is like, because there's no argument, it seems to be, from anyone involved in this situation. The draft starts at 2. He's a tall white. He's a tall white that can run. That can run fast. That's what I'm saying. He's a tall white that can. He has some mobility. Now, don't get me wrong. Trevor Lawrence can sling it. He could definitely throw the ball. Like, you can't, if you're picking one and you pick him, you have to be happy. But I mean, I don't think he's so much better than 2-3. That's my only beef with it. I don't think he's that much better than number 2 and number 3, whichever order you have it in, whether it's Zach Wilson, Fields, or Fields, Zach Wilson. I don't think he's that much better than 2-3. The draft starts at 2, and that's why it's just like one of those things where it's like, cool, Trevor Lawrence, prototypical, looks the part, tall white, can throw it, can run, has had success in college. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I mean, part of it is when you do what he did in the national championship game, freshman against Alabama, you're gonna get anointed right there, and that's gonna automatically.
Matt, he was the second best quarterback on the field in the national championship against LSU. He was not better than Burrow on that night, and he wasn't better than Fields in the Clemson game. Like, I'm just talking about it. Like, am I making this up here? Like, I think
what it comes down to,
what he did in the Natty as a true freshman, it's automatically going to deflect a lot of blame off.
So my thing is, he just has more film.
I'm saying that's
all it is. He has more film. That's all it is. And I mean, film is a lot. Like, he has a bigger resume. We have more film of him doing good than the other guys. Like, everybody else, you can say there's not enough.
No, I would definitely agree. I would definitely agree with that. If he was being picked apart, like, he's not being picked apart. He's playing the role as generational quarterback. That's my own beef, and that's when I say that he's not. I don't think he's better than Andrew Luck. I don't think he's better than Joe Burrow. I think he probably slots somewhere in that next tier of guys since that class. But he has all the tools. I'm not saying he has it's second nature. Some of these things are second nature to him, to where he's coming into the league with such a head start over where some guys get to the league, that he's going to be pretty good. This is not me ragging on Trevor Lawrence. I'm just trying to make the argument that nobody's making. But yeah, man, he's going to be good. Let me see in my notes. Anything else I got here? He's going
to be fantasy relevant off the bat as well.
Facts. I think one last thing that I think he does, because I've been shitting on him, so I will give him a compliment as we move on. I think one of the things that he does supremely well, that you can't really teach this, and not to get compy here, but I do think he's not as athletic, and he doesn't have the same arm as Justin Herbert, but they're pretty similar. They're pretty similar about how they extend plays, how they keep their head up, escaping the pocket and looking downfield. I think he's so much more advanced than what Justin Herbert did at Oregon compared to Trevor Lawrence. So he's coming in with an advantage over that. And I think he's a better decision maker. So I think that's a pretty awesome, play on the next level for Trevor Lawrence. My last thing,
like you said, I don't think he's quite as bendy. He's not going to throw from the same platforms and angles that Herbert does. No,
and he doesn't have the same arm or athleticism, but it's similar. He can run. And he has a good arm, but it's not the same. Justin Herbert is different. Last thing on Lawrence is he makes these like micro adjustments in the pocket at the last moment. If you're watching some of this video, and I do think we have film we can pull up if Raz want to pull it up, of him making throws like this. But yeah, I think we can bounce around. So I think we can get to the Zach Wilson situation here. So you guys, the floor is yours. About what you guys think.
Matt, I'll let
the white man go first.
We'll let Matt lead because we know. You want me to pull up the Zach Wilson video?
Please do.
Yes, please.
Oh boy, let's get it going.
Which video we're looking at first?
We're gonna go with Zach Wilson handling pressure.
Okay.
And if you are watching, like I said, hold on, one sec before we get into the play. Yeah. Before we get into the play, this is a podcast, but if you're not checking this out on the Periscope, we're watching film. We got a film room right now, so if you do want to see that, definitely check out the Draft Season podcast Periscope page, and we're gonna be putting it up on the YouTube page. So definitely check out for that. Matt, you can't go on, brother.
Yeah. So honestly, how he handled pressure was probably because I started watching him more closely, his games live as the season went on, and as kind of the steam on him as a prospect and being a top 5 lock almost as a quarterback started picking up. And the one thing that always came to mind as I watched the last 2 or 3 of those games was I feel like he has all day in the pocket and he's not going to have this kind of time at the next level because we know how NFL edge rushers are. And we know that you're not going to have much more than 3 or 4 seconds if you're lucky in the pocket. So I want to go back and I want to find some clips on how he would handle that pressure or how he has handled pressure and how that might translate to the next level. And it's a little bit of a mixed bag. It's probably more good than bad. But if we roll the tape here, Raz, whenever you're ready. So PSA, their 3rd game of the year. Steps up in the pocket. Nice little shovel pass. And that, if you could pause that real quick and even run it back.
Why was he trying to jump over everybody?
I don't know why that big white dude but there is, you talk about instincts and you talk about a feel for the game. You step up and you make this throw, like that's just something that I don't know that you could really teach that. And yeah, it's it's a 15-yard play, but the ability to step up and improvise like that is impressive in my mind. We can roll the next play, whatever this one's done.
Yep.
That was a play I liked a lot, though. I think it's just one.
This is the same one, yeah.
Next play I liked a lot.
We probably should have vetted these.
Okay, so he's got. Oh, run that back.
Oh boy. Yep.
Free rusher off the edge, back foot.
Back foot, back shoulder, back foot, back shoulder. That's you. This is not mechanics that you teach.
Nah, you don't teach that one.
I'm gonna hit on another video.
That's just arm talent. That's just arm talent, though, right?
Yeah, like that. But he can sling it. He can definitely sling it. Like he makes some really impressive, off kilter, off platform.
Now this was not as good. He's got pressure coming up the middle here, and he throws a really dumb ball that should have been intercepted. So not quite as good.
Run it back.
This might be the same play. Yeah, it's the same play. You want to see the other angle?
Oh yeah, you see right there. He got fooled on that play. That's the linebacker's there.
Yep.
Under that the whole time. So we talk about reading defenses. All these guys have to get better at diagnosing defenses. We talk about this like Justin Herbert just had one of the best rookie seasons for a quarterback we've seen. Right? What did the Patriots do to him when he had to go up against Bill Belichick? He passed him. All these guys have to make certain adjustments at the next level. And this is one of those cases.
And now
I think on this play right here,
Raz, correct me. I think this is the last one, but they're backed up inside their own 10-yard line, and he's about to get sacked inside the 3. And this is again just kind of the instincts, the feel for the pocket that I just don't know you can really teach if you run that play back one more time. Yep. Little shovel pass. I mean, I believe that was a design screen. But
yeah, it looks like they let everyone in.
Space right away, and to have the wherewithal to get that pass off, and now all of a sudden you gain 30 yards. That's big. And this was
versus Houston. Yep. I mean, this is just good feet and opening up the other way and running around. Yeah.
One thing about Zach that I do think is probably like one of his better attributes. He throws from a lot of varied arm angles. You know what I'm saying? Like that's something that you need in your, especially as a. I think we spoke about this earlier,
well,
but
and that's we'll run that next clip.
One thing about Zach that I'm saying is one of my question marks for him is how does he look as an athlete at the next level? So I think, I mentioned this earlier, but when I watched Tua last year, he looked extremely tiny on an NFL football field. So how do you look next to these monster ends? That can blow up plays in the backfield and that can beat you to the corner. So I think it's gonna be interesting to see where he runs at. I don't think he's I think for some of the praise that he's getting, him he's a dual threat, but he's not really I don't think he's naturally gonna be like a running threat at the next level. But he moves around behind the line of scrimmage well to make plays, which is something that you need to do for a quarterback, and that's an attribute that's probably a part of the reason why people get so starry-eyed when you're talking about Zach Wilson.
Well, I think for
go ahead.
Yeah, I think for me it's just like I don't see him, like Sean said, I don't see him taking off all the time at the next level. He's just not big enough to take those hits, right? But he does it. His senior year, he did do a good job of not taking those hits. And he was coming off the injury, and he's mobile. He's mobile in the pocket. He can get you the yards with his feet, but he does a good job of not taking those hits.
Yeah, so going back to the last video before we hit on, I believe we're going to touch on his mobility in this clip right here. I think the question of how is he going to handle pressure, I mean, there's not a quarterback on the planet that's better when they've got guys in their face. Like, there's just not. But I think that the combination of the platforms he can throw from, his feel for the pocket, and kind of that short burst quickness, I think that he'll be fine. That's not as much of a concern. Now that I watched the film.
See the play?
What's up?
Yeah, run the play.
We wasn't starting
here. But I'm just going back to
this is mobility.
I'm not as quite as concerned, but we can roll this clip now.
Yeah, this is mobility clips right here.
Listen, is he Lamar Jackson or Kyler Murray? No, but I think that you can run kind of these read option plays where he can pick up a pretty easy 5 to 10 yards when you're down by the goal line. He can beat a guy around the edge. Now, again, like the question is, can he do this against NFL caliber athletes? For sure. But here, another good read up the middle. Can't be doing this.
He needs to get down there. He got to get down there.
One thing too, because this guy came out of nowhere on a lot of like draft boards, and people are wondering like why. He had injury issues, and lowering your shoulder at the next level is not gonna help you healthy. Not gonna help you stay healthy. Yeah, Zach, you gonna slide, brother, slide.
Get out of bounds and slide. Like, I mean, right here, like we can run that one back, right? This is one of those things where you freeze the defender. He has to jump now, and you can get those extra yards. So that's like those are things I like from him. But yeah, you can be like he has to get down here, and there we go. Like you can't.
Still probably took an extra hit there, but yeah.
Get out of bounds. Like that's all I'm saying. Like he needs to, if he's gonna be running, he has to get down.
I really like this play right here because this showed he made a man miss and he got to the open field and he showed some actual explosive ability. Gets down at the end.
That's the one he slides on? That's what I'm saying. Like that's the one he hold on, guys. That's the one he slid on.
I was about to ask
that. Yes.
Like that's the one he's
But this is probably the best running play I saw on his tape.
He don't got long. He don't got long speed, bro. That's why.
But
like he don't got.
He
was gonna get caught. He was actually gonna get a square hit if he kept running. That's the funny thing.
He was just tired. That's all.
But again, eyes downfield, looking to make the throw. There's nothing there. All right, let me make this guy miss in the open field. I'll gain 30 and I'll get down. So just to kind of put a ball on that, you guys can add on to it. But I think that
Raz, pull up my Zach Fields video.
Let's see.
Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
What's up?
No, finish your thought, Matt.
Oh yeah. No, I was gonna say, definitely mobile enough to survive at the next level. Should he be getting at his frame, even if he puts on a little bit of weight? Should he be taking hits in the open field from NFL linebackers, defensive ends? Absolutely not. But can you draw up running plays for him in certain spots? Yes. And again, going back to the feel for the pocket, I feel like he is going to be able to get you he's got good, quick area burst. And I think he can get rid off 10 to 15-yard runs when the space is in front of him. Again, he's not Kyler, he's not Lamar, he's not even Josh Allen. None of the above. And he doesn't have the frame to be Josh Allen or even a Lamar. But I think more than mobile.
Which Zach Wilson video you want?
I mean, bring it. I don't care. Whatever. We'll go. Whatever video bring up, we'll go to it. I think one thing on the Zach Wilson. One thing he has to improve on. I talked about. He's one of the best at throwing back shoulder throws in his draft. He's amazing at that. Throwing across the hash, he has that type of arm. His ball placement in the middle of the field leaves you wanting a lot. I'm not gonna lie. One thing that you never want to see from your quarterback is he throws these suicide balls, which like he throws it up and he basically just like sets his guy up to get killed on some throws more than you want to see. So you gotta get better with that on ball placement because man, you can't be out here getting your receivers killed in the middle of the field and lining them up like that. So I think that's definitely one thing he needs to improve on. But yeah, run the tape. Let's see what this play is.
It's a deep throw. Showing off a little bit of the
Yeah,
it's a beautiful ball, bro.
That's on the money. Yeah, that's pitch and catch. That's pitch and catch. You know, run that back. Let's see the footwork. One time. Yeah, okay, another angle.
Man, I forgot Troy College even existed up until seeing.
I mean, we could run it one more time just to, like you said, that's pitch and catch. Yeah. Like, that's perfect.
Yeah, that's pitching. Like, that's all day. That's all day. That's on the money. Safety had no chance on that play. Yeah, let's see the next play. It's another deep ball.
Bill Belichick on the phone here for this one, of course.
Yeah.
It's a good ball. It's a better catch.
That's a really good throw right there. In traffic, run that back. We can see how he manipulated or what his reads are on this play. Let's see. He stared that one down, but he got it in there. If you're gonna stay a read down, like you gotta have the arm fit to get it in there. And yeah, man, he's feeling himself. That's what I'm saying. Like, and I called him. I said people. This is not even my comp. People call the Mormon. I didn't even come up with the Mormon Manziel thing. But you see, he's a little cocky. He's feeling himself. That's a good sign from your quarterback on the next level. You just don't want him. Taking flights to Vegas on a Saturday before a game night. You don't want to see him doing shit like that. But yeah, let's see. This is a hash mark throw. And yeah, so let's run this one, Raz. Little play action.
It's a lot of zip on that arm, though, man. Like that's a lot of zip.
Yeah,
on that
man.
arm. That's a pro throw right there. Like, can't get your man killed like that.
He got. This is what I'm talking about. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. He got his man killed on this, and he stared that down the whole time. Run that.
So this is the hash. This is where it's like, all right, this is good, Wilson, because that's a ridiculous throw.
That second one, he stared it down the whole time. So look at that linebacker right by the right hash. It's an inside from the end route from the slot guy. He never had a chance with that one.
He's lucky that dude didn't die.
That's what I'm saying. He's lucky he didn't get decapitated on that play.
Right.
You gotta be better than that. All right, let's see. We got more Wilson tape.
Not much of a read on that one, but yeah, we got more. We got more than that. But yeah, I mean, we have the misread coverage if you want to get into that. If you want to get to the negatives.
Yeah, let's see this
one. Yeah, we gotta run that back. He stared it down the whole way. Guy got. I mean, I don't know if it's misread, by the way, because the receiver
they're not.
What
he didn't see the linebacker there though, because the strong side safety. Can you run the playback? Yeah. If you, I don't know if you could go back before the snap.
Go back before the snap. This is it.
Can you? Yeah. So if you see the on the top side of the weak side of the field, you see that safety is going to attack and blitz basically, which leads the strong side safety to come back and actually get to that slot. And yeah, you're right, Raz, because he did get chipped, but I don't think he saw that safety get to that slot.
I don't know if he saw it, but I think with his arm talent, that throw probably gets completed if that receiver doesn't get tripped. Because it's like, on the next level, he can't make that mistake.
Or the receiver, he's gonna have a chance, so he might also get rocked in that play. If he didn't pick that off, he's also gonna be in a position to rock him.
Yeah,
receiver might get.
It was gonna be bang. That was gonna be bang bang regardless.
It's not a pick.
Yeah, man.
It's not a pick if the guy doesn't trip though.
Yeah,
like you gotta.
It's like right here,
that's
right?
Probably,
so he's trying to get it somewhere over here.
But the safety is reading. Read the safety.
The safety is there. The safety, but if he doesn't get tripped here, I think if he doesn't get tripped here,
he still might
pushes that way. I mean, he still might get killed. Don't get me wrong. He still might get killed. But I'm saying he still might get killed. But I'm talking about in terms of the throw. This is where he's trying to be. So he's trying to be.
You gotta be precise in that.
So because he's already going that way.
But there's no way the safety does read. Don't get me wrong, but there's no way he's.
The safety's here. But if the ball's here, that's a catch. If he doesn't get tripped.
All right, so run the play because the ball's not there either. He had to come back to the ball on the other one. It's a little more. It's a little closer to safety than you want to see. It's a miss. It's a miss throw. Yeah. He actually missed twice on this if you want to look at it. So and the other thing, if you want to talk about the read, if you want to talk about he's singling in on your one read, he looking back at it, he probably has the weak side in. Looking at the pressure, he probably doesn't have. Yeah, like if you have the pocket is probably not clean enough to like really make that throw. So I'm not gonna kill him for that. But that read, that's where you want your eyes to go as a quarterback, right there. So
it's not dirty though. Right, like it's not like he. Yeah,
he should have made that. Yeah, it was that. It's that 18. 18 is open. 18 is open, and you could probably save 18.
And if you're really getting filthy, you can hold for the check down for 25. I mean, it might have collapsed by then, but 18 on a comeback is open. I don't know what route 18's running. Yeah, he's running it in. So
yeah, he was open though.
Yeah, he's open.
I think. All right, so we got more plays, or can we go to somebody else that we have?
No, we got one. We got one more. Because this is
we haven't spoken about Trey Lance yet.
Yeah, we haven't.
I was gonna say the other two videos are the ones that if you want to get really excited about Zach Wilson are the ones you watch. I don't care which one you pick. Right.
We got one more. Yeah, this is Zach Wilson at his best. I mean, that's not what you don't teach that.
I titled the video. He's not. Listen, I will never ever say that a college quarterback is on the same level as the two greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game in my mind. And Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes.
That's what you're doing right now. Listen to yourself.
I'm just saying I could see why some of the comparisons as far as the off-platform stuff are made.
Relax.
I don't.
Relax.
I'm not saying he's Rodgers or Mahomes.
You're doing too much. Relax.
What do you mean? I just said he's not Rodgers or Mahomes, but he makes throws like these that no one else in this
ain't no but. He's no Rodgers or Mahomes. End sentence. No but. Like no but.
Film, bro. Can you shut up, watch film, please? Like, all right, if you could, I'm not sure if you can pause it.
But yeah, man, no, that's such a great throw, though, man. Like
it is a great throw, but that's a girl. I mean, Sam Darnold can make that throw. It's not like it's. But it shouldn't.
Yes, not bad. Absolutely. Right, that's exactly what I was about to say. That's exactly what I was saying.
Daniel Jones can make that throw.
Placement. They have talented as hell, though.
But he looks comfortable.
But see, this is not a throw. I don't like this. I don't like this one though. Like this throw right here. Why not set your
high school?
Get it out faster.
High school High school quarterbacks can make that throw.
But that's what I'm saying. But here,
I'm just saying there's a comfort level with some of the platforms he can throw from, which other guys in the draft class are not comfortable with.
I get that. All right, so we've seen this one, but look, this is an easy throw to where you can set. There's no reason not to set your feet here. None.
True.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Like, there's no reason not to set your feet there. There's zero reason not to do that. Like,
true.
That's a screen. Fine.
Yeah, bro. Nah, that's what I said, bro. When we said the Mormon, this is Matt. This is shit Johnny Manziel did, and you told me that you said that I was bugging for saying that.
Bring the film up. Bring the film because it's not.
This is
Johnny
shit.
Manziel is not making.
Yes, it is, bro. Come on, bro. Yo,
Raz, bring the other video. Matter of fact,
the other video. You tired of this one? All right, we'll remove this one from the show.
I'm not, bro. He doesn't. He doesn't. Yo, Matt.
Throwing guys open is what this is titled.
Yes.
I'm not. Hold on. When we talk about the arm, he does not have Johnny Manziel's. Like Johnny Manziel does not have his arm. But when we talk about the finicky mechanics, we talk about the size. That's what I'm talking about, man. Like you can't. We talking about this, like they're running around college defenders.
Bigger than Johnny.
Barely. Like I said, I think he looked. When I watched him the first time, I thought he looked small. I need to see how he looks next to NFL defenders. He's playing against the Mountain West guys here, and like these are not. These are future.
And we saw what Coastal Carolina
future hedge fund managers, bro. These are future hedge fund managers, bro. You know what I'm saying? So,
hedge fund managers.
So like, I mean, like it's one thing to do that against, it's one thing to do that against
his receivers are also
against Texas San Antonio, bro. It's another thing to do that against like
the ridiculous throw.
What? The Bucks?
So we calling him Gourmet Johnny Manziel. That's what we doing?
Get a little
Johnny Manziel with four wives.
Baker Mayfield. Partially Baker Mayfield.
But if you're making the argument against competition, which is fine, but I mean, you could have said
a little spice.
Josh Allen a couple of years ago, and
absolutely. Fair enough. These guys are all incomplete. You know what I'm saying? So,
but that's a touchdown. What are you talking about?
So I meant incomplete, like as far as getting their game. Not the. Is that 2 feet? Is that 2 feet?
Yeah,
it wouldn't have been. It wouldn't have been too. I mean, this is a good throw. I mean, like that guy has to catch that.
Suck. His receivers in the scheme suck.
He has to catch that. Yeah, that's a good throw.
That's a good throw.
How do you drop that? Jesus.
Run that back again.
It's the same play here.
So Matt, when the Jets draft Wilson, how long is it going to be until you order the jersey? Like 5 minutes, 10 minutes,
not
2 minutes.
I'm buy jersey anymore.
Excuse me?
Ooh, what a throw!
That's a great throw.
He should have. I mean, he does have room. He does have room
as well as anyone in this draft.
He does have room to. I mean, he could have let him a little bit more.
He could have.
Okay, good footwork there for that one.
Ridiculous throw, man. Like,
I mean,
this number 18 is terrible.
Yeah, he's not great.
This throw, full shot.
Is that the one he catches though?
40-yarder of his end zone.
So that's the one.
This is caught. Yeah,
that's the one he caught. Okay, this guy's.
This is a ridiculous throw too. Outside.
I mean, once he sees the defender's back, he does a good job of throwing it open, but.
He throws it in spots where only this guy can catch.
I mean, that's better. That's the receiver right there, though. I feel like this one is the receiver.
But the ball is where it needs to be. The ball is where it needs to be.
It is.
I can't hate on that. Can I see the drop on one more time before that?
One.
Which one?
No, the drop back. His drop back on that throw.
Oh, okay.
Drop that. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's a good throw right there. That's what you want to see. I think I wrote down in my notes about Zach Wilson how he does fade when the pressure is coming. So that's something we talk about not being mechanically sound. When the pressure is on you, that's when you got to be mechanically sound. So that's just another thing. I think that's good on Zach Wilson. One thing I wanted to get your guys' opinion on this because we haven't discussed this yet. But we could definitely get to Trey Lance. So opinions on Trey Lance. What have you guys seen early? He did not play this year. He played one exhibition game. You know, I don't think that counts. I'm gonna say that's. I'm gonna just say that's. You know, I'm gonna just throw that out. He went. What was it? 28 touchdowns, no interceptions last year.
Yeah,
288 attempts.
Yeah.
In 2019. That's damn impressive. You know, I think he shows a lot of great signs. You know, we still need to see more from him as a quarterback. He needs definitely more refinement. So I don't know if he's a day one starter. I have questions about Zach Wilson as well too.
My opinion on Trey Lance, like many of the other three that we have in the top three, his deep ball accuracy is great. Like I think all four of them can throw. They can throw the deep ball, right? He's athletic as hell, and he's a scary ass runner. He's a big dude. Oh, we lost him. He on the K Lou, but he's a scary runner, and I think his eyes do stay downfield when it's time to face the pressure. I think that's the most important part there. Like when the pressure's in route, Trey Lance keeps his eyes downfield. And I think he on each level can make each throw. So whether it's, middle of the field, deep down the field, dump balls, things like that, he can make every single throw. And I think if you're willing to sit and develop him, I think it's going to pay off on the pick. Now, the cons that we do have for him, normal, like the competition, right? The competition he hasn't played. His progressions need work, but all of these young quarterbacks' progressions need work, and he holds on to the ball a bit too long. Like these are all cookie cutter things you can say for every single one of these quarterbacks. He's just raw. Trey Lance is raw. Like at any sense of the word, he's a raw quarterback prospect.
I would love to see him on the Niners. I would love to see him.
That's what I was gonna say.
Can we get some of this film up, Raz?
I would love to see him on the Niners. That'd be great.
We can definitely get some of that Trey Lance film.
So yeah, I mean, Matt, you got Trey Lance takes. What's up?
No, I actually have not watched a ton of Trey Lance film. I think he is very raw. I don't think he's a starter on day one, but I think we were talking about if he's in the right surrounding area, which I mean, honestly, like with developing young quarterbacks, the onus should be on the organization and the franchise to put them in a position to succeed rather than expecting that their skills are somehow going to translate without any help to the NFL. A team that can do that, I think, very easily would be the San Francisco 49ers. I think that you sit him behind, shout out Marlon out of COVID jail today. You sit him behind Jimmy Garoppolo for a year or two and let him develop it with Kyle Shanahan. I think that could be really scary for the rest of the league.
So yeah, man, I'll hit a couple of these Trey Lance notes. This is just I call this one too small. He's just too these guys are too small for Trey Lance. He just ran through that. You could run that playback, and you're gonna see he's run through arm tackle. He was a 3-star recruit out of Minnesota, which is funny. He wanted to go to the University of Minnesota.
But one more thing.
They wanted him to play safety, so he went to North Dakota State.
Just one more thing, just for the record. If Zach Wilson is playing against podiatrists and Trey Lance in FBS is playing against kindergartners, right? For the record.
Probably fair enough. Fair enough. But I mean, those kindergartners didn't stop Carson Wentz from going. What do you go? Second, third? What do you go? I forgot.
I think he went second.
So yeah, I mean,
he's just strong.
I think. But you see, if we're talking about strength, if we're gonna talk about doing that through, to NFL guys, Trey Lance he's 6'3", 225. Like he's sturdily built. He got a chance to run through some tackles at the next level. I just don't forecast that for Zach Fields. And yeah, that's a strike right there. Down the seam. Right there. What else I got for him?
Here's the comparison that has been thrown out with him a million times over is Dak Prescott. Do you think that's lazy, or do you think there are some pros there?
I mean, it might be lazy.
I can see it. No, I can see it because I think he does. I think he does some really good things with like the ball as a game manager. It's like ridiculous stuff. I think, and going back to your point about competition, Matt, he over the whole 2019 season, I don't know what the exact number was, but it was something less than like 20 or 15 snaps, like played trailing did North Dakota State. So like they were always in positive game script. It's hard to get a read on that. That's kind of the same thing with Lamar. Lamar is always up. So like when he's down, you know, that's kind of like what we got to get into.
I've seen that one.
Yeah, we saw that one already.
This is more running stuff though, right here. Like a little clearer. Like
field in Oakland.
Yeah,
like he has jets for somebody that size, man.
He ran for 12,000 yards and 16 touchdowns over that season.
12,000?
Yeah,
1,200. Pardon me, but yeah, man, like he's
a fucking athlete.
He needs some refinement,
but dime.
Yo, like the receiver had so much time.
Run that back, please. Yeah, hold on. I need to see that from the first angle again. Yeah, hold on. Like this is confident. Let's see I want to see the footwork. You know, good drop, good throw, good shoulders. Safety never had a chance.
Never. Like yo,
that was
the receiver. The receiver adjusted 6 times because there's still no one else could get it, bro.
You know,
look at this guy.
Yeah, he's a big boy that moves like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, if we don't talk about like projecting, you know, if he played this year, like I think he's step in step with Wilson for sure about what they could do. You know what I'm saying? We need to see more throws, but. Yeah, he's definitely like if you set him in the right organization with the right people talking to him, like he could. The potential is like I said when I spoke about him having the upside or the 2 through 4 in this class having the upside to possibly be better than a Trevor Lawrence if everything hits. This is what I mean. So is that all of the field state? I mean the landscape we have here.
This is one more.
Oh, this is one of my favorite plays. In this game. I don't know if I got a couple from this one. This is a hash throw. Also, some RPO stuff. A couple readjustments in the pocket with pressure coming. Strike. He does not catch this ball. The drop is on the receiver because the ball is where it needs to be. But yo, man, pressure going through his reads. You know, keeping himself square. A last second adjustment to square himself. This is a throw.
You got to catch it. You got to catch it. I mean, that's good by the defender, but you got to catch it.
So Trey Lance had all of Zach Wilson's receivers in 2019. North Dakota State didn't play, and they went and played for BYU this year because these boys dropped everything.
Yeah, so I think for sure. Is it a different play? It's the same play.
This is a different play. This is not a different play?
Same play.
Oh, same play? It's on
same play, different angle. But yeah, man. So I think Trey Lance needs the right. Yeah, is it? Yeah. So one thing he really does that I love is he gets himself square and then he just fires 1 2 get it out of there. Pressure, readjust, step up, dime. Hold on. Oh, this is actually hold on. This play is let the replay run on this one because on the first throw you don't even catch it. You got to see the replay on this.
Nah, but his footwork, he has good feet.
You got to see the footwork on this play because the defender gets his arms up in the receiver's side of line of vision. The ball still hits the receiver in his hands. Like that's insane. Like, and that's
I hate DBs are always wagging their figures on drops, bro. Like you had nothing to do with that, bro.
I think the DB made a good play. He made a good play. I think he made a good play on this one. Oh, it's a hash throw. I need that touchdown throw one more time. But yeah, that was a good play by the DB.
Look at the footwork.
The throw, look at the footwork, and then footwork right there. Steps up, dime, back of it. Oh my God, man,
gotta catch that.
But yeah, man, on the next level, that's probably 6 with a receiver that has.
My thing is like if we're looking at the draft order, I guess I'm just wondering. Other than Kevin and I both hit on San Francisco. Where are some other potentially ideal spots where he can develop, and that might. The block.
I think Kalu brought up.
Order, like Carolina with Matt.
Carolina is the number one. That's it. That's it. Straight
over
up.
San Francisco.
Both of them. San Francisco got a lower. They got a lower pick, correct? Yeah.
Yeah. They're at 12.
So what I'm saying, like Matt Rule with him, like, and yeah, let Teddy start for a year. Like, I don't care. What?
No, I can't. Nah. We can't do that. No, we can't. As a DJ Moore enthusiast, we're not. We're off the Teddy. No, we're off that.
I understand the pain. But like, even a half season, he might be ready to go by a half season with the right coaching in his ears. So I think that guy's a talent, and it's undefined, and him missing this season, it hurt him more than anybody else, because realistically, like, if he did what he did in 2019 this year, he might be going third, like stand up third or fourth between with all these guys. So I think Trey Lance, man, that guy definitely has.
I'm looking at the order. I'm just praying for his sake because I want him to succeed. I'm praying that he doesn't somehow take a tumble, which I don't think he will. Like, these guys are going to go quick, but like, once you get past Carolina and San Francisco, like, if he somehow fell to Chicago, that would hurt. That would hurt me for him.
Yeah.
So I think we could kill through the rest of this film. What else we got, Raz? I think we could get to I know we got Fields and Lawrence film, so we could kill those two because we didn't get to the film earlier. Unless you want to play a Felipe Frank film.
Nah, that was just some shit I put together. I mean, we could talk about him in a later date. I think he's a little bit more intriguing than some people in this room right now are letting on. But
we're gonna have to do a second quarterback episode probably for the honorable mentions before the actual draft starts. But yeah, Raz, run some film and we can get out of here as we kill the rest of the film we got for Lawrence and Fields.
While we're here, I'll interrupt with a fantasy hot take.
Go.
Terry McLaurin, top 10 receiver this year.
With Fitz? I mean,
tepid. I don't even think that's that hot.
You're right. It's not. But it's warm. Fuck Ryan Fitzpatrick, though. But yeah.
So what we got here? Oh, yeah, this is the bomb from the national championship game. This is like, when I watched this throw, like, he's just operating from a different aerial plane than other quarterbacks.
That was
like,
so beautiful.
Dog, airtime. Like, you're not.
That was so beautiful.
Run that back, Raz. Run that back.
That was so beautiful. Oh, my God.
Like, and he made a couple throws like this, like, as this game was getting away from Clemson. Like, he knows where he wanted to go with the ball the whole time, but he steps up. He's looking right here. Let the play run, Raz. Yeah, he's looking right here. Beautiful. Man in his face too. There's a guy in his face.
Yeah, like, pockets collapsing on him a little bit.
In the bag, and safety didn't have a chance on the money. That's a Justin Fields throw. That's the special throw right there. He has the potential, and he can be inconsistent and miss that throw. But from what I've seen, he's more accurate than not throwing the ball downfield. Even when we're going and we compare it to his contemporaries, like, what is that?
And that's one of like 2 or 3 throws he made like that.
And what's that? That's 70 air yards. Yeah, like what? At least 65, 70 air yards on a dime in the end zone. Safety had to dive, and he was still late. He wasn't even. Yeah, man, he was still late on that one. So that's a Justin Fields dime, man. That's what he brings to the table. This is another one back of the end zone. Back of the end zone. This is what he does, man. This is the first touchdown. The first touchdown in this semifinal is just like this throw. But when you look at the placement on it, the safety and the backer doesn't have a chance. Look when this ball is out. The ball is out right there.
Yeah,
they're not in bad position, but we're talking about throwing it to a tight window, trusting your arm. He knows that's a strike. Those guys didn't have a chance at that play again. Step into a good long stride.
Yeah, it's that's a fastball right in the window. Nothing they can do.
Nothing they can do about that one. That's QB1 throws. When you're making throws like that, and
he had another long touchdown in that game too.
Yeah, I didn't even clip that one, but I know exactly what play you're talking. This one, this is escapability. That's running through a defensive end. That defensive end just like bounced off of him. finding this is plays you make down in the game. This is winning plays right here. This is 3rd and 10. It's still first quarter, but what's it called? Tackle gets beat. You're running backwards, bro. This is just great stuff. This is stuff you love to see. This is making something out of nothing. What else we got here? Yeah, the back shoulder throw on this one. Set this up real quick. Pause, Raz. If in this game, he actually got hurt. Coming into this the play before. So this is his first play back in the game, and he's gonna throw a strike on the run, going to his right, going to his left. Pardon me, going to his left in the back of the end zone. Resets. That's good footwork too. That last minute reset. Run that back, Raz. Run that back. The reset on the throw is what's special here. At the last moment, outside of the pocket, last second, look at hips, change, throw, end zone, touchdown. So yeah, man, that's advanced stuff from Justin Fields, man. He makes these throws, and this is 2019. So I think a lot of people that might have watched the 2020 tape, the Indiana game, the Northwestern game, he made some boneheaded throws. But like when I talk about Justin Fields at large, and we talk about he did it for 2 years. Zach Wilson did it for 1, and over the 2-year span, I think he was. Oh, it's back end zone dime.
Yeah, it's dime.
Back end zone dime.
I don't think we were talking about before. I don't think the years matter as much anymore.
I don't think it matters. I don't. But it's still.
It's nice.
No, matter of fact, I don't. I'm gonna have to disagree with that, Matt. I'm gonna have to disagree with that. The more I think about it, because we didn't even talk about this about how the NFL sucks at developing quarterbacks.
Yes, they do.
So they surely stink at developing quarterbacks. So. When we talk about these guys and we talk about experience, experience matters. I'm looking at it. I have going back prior to the 2019 draft, there were 100 quarterbacks drafted in the first round. Mark Sanchez, Cam Newton, and Mitch Trubisky were the only ones to start 15 games or fewer. That's probably going to change. I believe there's a couple guys who are at that mark of just not having a lot of experience. But when you talk about reading coverages, when you talk about making the right plays, repetitions matter, and teams get less practice time. So actually, in-game repetition matters even more for these guys. So yeah, man, starting over time, seeing these guys in different scenarios. Matt, you brought up the point about Fields being motivated to come back all year, and that's a great point. Seeing these guys with their back against the wall, we need to see how these guys handle adversity. You got to see that. That's going back to Trey Lance. We just did not see him, handling adversity. So, did we get this play?
Reps matter. I guess I wouldn't be as scared of a 1-year rocket rise to the top.
When these guys aren't ready to play right away, if they're not ready, playing them when they're not ready probably does more bad than it does good.
Good. I'd agree.
True.
So that's what I'm saying. Is it that's what I'm coming down to? What is it, and why is it that I don't think it's just talented quarterbacks that come to the league? It's something about not enough time, not enough meshing between quarterback and system and coaching staff. But like you said earlier, Matt, they're just failing the actual quarterbacks and
that is, I think, an example that comes to mind with experience is someone like Darnold, who only started playing quarterback. I think Raz or Kevin might know off the top of their head, but I think it was his junior year of high school.
I'm pretty sure it was that, yeah.
Yeah, junior year of high school, and then he goes to USC, and then he's in the NFL. So he literally was a rookie in the NFL starting after playing probably 4 years of quarterback in his life. So, yeah, I mean, that stuff does matter in my mind. I think what I meant by experience was more so you think about a guy like Burrow who had this meteoric rise to the top of last year's draft.
If we're scouting tools, you are correct. Because in certain dates, guys like that probably wouldn't get the same, they wouldn't get that same highlight as we are today. So I definitely agree with you on that. Do we have any leftover Fields plays?
Yeah, right? This is one I picked, and I wanted to talk about this one. And this is my the devil on my shoulder, the angel on my shoulder kind of thing with Justin Fields right here. Because he's so talented, he does, want to push it down the field. But if you're looking at this, the easy throw is open, right? but he's kind of just like fuck it. Like I'm Justin Fields and I'm gonna make the deep throw right here.
Yep.
So
I'd rather.
I mean, he's aggressive. He's aggressive. Look, but like here,
I would rather teach my quarterback to take the damn dump off than like he's making throws that the guys who taking all the dump offs can't make. So like he can get coached up. He can get coached up to take the easier route. And you're absolutely correct. Like sometimes he trusts his arm too much, and you see guys get into that issue at the next level. So like
look here. Look at this read. Look at this read though. Because of this route right here in the middle of the field, the safety cannot get back. So he's dead. So you have to, you got it. Like that's why he throws it. Like the other one is open, but this is a home run play. So he's taking the home run 9 times out of 10 because that in route right there, that's where the safety bit in the middle of the field on like right here, right around here. The safety's gonna bite, and that one over the top is open as hell. So I mean, Justin Fields, he's the goods, but I mean, like you said, you rather, man, look at that pocket work. And then look at the throw.
You live with the high stuff like this.
Yeah, look at the throw.
That's the same play we ran earlier, but
but it's just from a different angle. Like
it's amazing. So I wanted to get into the. I got a couple Trevor Lawrence film clips.
Good Trevor or bad Trevor?
Let's start with good Trevor. There's a lot of good with Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah,
right here. This is what I'm talking about. You know, stepping up in the pocket, throwing a. This is the good footwork that he does. So this is what I'm saying. He could do it. Sliding around, steps up, throws a dime. You know, his feet are planted to the feet. You know, the ball. He throws it. He kind of does. The more I'm watching,
Martin Rogers got smoked on that play.
the more I'm watching it, he kind of throws a 2-seamer as a ball. So like it has some rise and it has some sail on some of his throws. So when he's not mechanically sound, balls can like rise on him. So yeah, this is definitely. That's a good Trevor. So let's run the other good. Matter of fact, let's run the bad Trevor. Right.
Bad Trevor.
Yeah, let's get negative.
Let's run bad Trevor.
Yeah, let's tear down the white man.
Yeah.
Bad Trevor right here. What is this? This is just throwing. Yeah, I mean, this is just.
Why?
This is what I'm talking about.
The footwork, like just set your feet.
This is
what's going on here?
There was a couple throws that like he had pressure, so I get it. But you know, I think he just wasn't ready.
Isn't that kind of, if you pause it real quick, isn't that kind of what you were just talking about, Justin? In a way, Trevor knows he has a once in a generation type arm, and he can do that without setting his feet, which is a problem. But it goes back to
it's a similar issue, and it's a similar problem. He trusts his arm so much, and he puts himself in precarious situations. And I know. Not even to cut you off, man. I know he's gotten really good coaching on this stuff. He's gotten coaching on this stuff, but I know he can be, you know,
Jesus Christ. Never seen
it's cocky.
That.
Yeah, but
yo, what the fuck? Like
he caught it, but the ball is off. The ball is off.
I know. I'm just saying, but like Jesus Christ, like, that's that's the athlete type of caliber like they have on that team. But like, yeah, like that ball has to be
run that back, Raz. Run that back because
they don't pay him enough for that.
This is exactly what I'm talking about when I say like mechanical. Like he has his own mechanical issues he has to solve. This is the play I'm talking about. So
like,
he's lifting. Yeah, like he has enough time. He got happy feet right there. You know what I'm saying? He sensed the pressure. On the last play, he set his feet. He had his feet set and he was ready to throw. That's one thing I really like about Fields mechanically, about having his feet set and ready to throw. That's one thing. Yeah, Trevor, you was feeling yourself on that throw, but you gotta.
I gotta say, it's quite the difference watching Trevor and Fields receivers versus Trey Lance and Zach Wilson who are throwing to us.
There's another one in there, Raz, that we missed on the bad. I think.
No, there was only 2. That was it.
Was it? Did we get both good?
No, we didn't get both good.
Let's get the other one.
I thought we was tearing down white men.
Yeah, now let's get the. I mean, let's do the. We can end on that note. We can end on that note.
Good, Trevor. Fine.
We can end on that note as we get the hell up out of here. 2 hours. We're probably gonna break this show up. Shout out to you if you listen to this, and shout out to you on everybody listening on the replay as well. So this is good, Trevor. Let's see this play.
We seen that one. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw that one.
We started with 2. I don't know why we wouldn't start with 1. That's on me. That's crazy arm strength. Like he's leaning back.
Can I run that back? Can we run that back from the beginning?
Yeah.
I want to see the formation. Hold on.
Flushed out. We can get the formation. Hold up.
What was it? So we got Trips right.
Trips are, I guess that's Trip left. But
yeah, Trips left.
But they're bringing what, 6?
So what's that? That's 3.
I see 6 coming, 6 rushing. It looks man to man with safety in the middle.
Yeah. Man off the line.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So run the play.
Yeah, it was man the whole way.
Oh, what's going on?
Let's see. Yeah. Only the receiver was coming down with it. There was nobody else that came down with that. I mean, it's also T. Higgins.
That's T. Higgins, bro.
So like that helps.
Yo, and like you said, we can make that same argument about weapons with all of these guys. And T. Higgins had so many ridiculous. When I was watching the 2019 Trevor Lawrence film, it was basically a T. Higgins and Travis Etienne showcase.
You can't forget about the first national championship too. I think there's an argument that Justin Ross might have been the best receiver.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Justin Ross is ridiculous. But yeah, man, I think that'll do it for us today. We didn't touch upon.
I think we need to. I think what we need to do to wrap it up. I mean, from the quarterbacks that we didn't touch upon, let me stop sharing my screen. So, but yeah, I think we do need to just get
last one. This is it. If you had to pick from this class,
oh boy.
If you had to pick from this class, best quarterback.
I kind of just want everybody's order of the 4 that we talked about. What's everybody's order of the 4 we talked about?
Both. We could do both. We could do the top. We could do the top 4, and then would you rather have Trevor Lawrence or would you have the Fields? You know, shout to the punt game. But K-Lou, where are you at on this?
Whoa.
I think Trevor Lawrence is probably a little bit better. I don't think the gap is as wide as a lot of people think it is, but
agreed. Yeah, that's my.
I think Lawrence is just a little bit better. I think Fields' ceiling is probably a tad higher because he's more athletic. But I'd probably take Lawrence. He's a safer bet, so I'll take Lawrence.
I think what was the 1 through 4 though, Caleb?
Lawrence, Fields, Lance, Wilson for me.
Go ahead, Matt.
Trevor, or I'm guessing we're cutting off the field at like Mac Jones. So
nigga, fuck Mac Jones. We talk about the 4 we spoke about. But yeah, if you want to throw Mac Jones in there for sure.
Mac Jones like her or not, it's probably going in the top dozen.
Aggressive.
At least.
Fine. Throw Mac Jones.
We're gonna get back to this on a different.
I'm not talking about no Mac Jones.
Mac Jones is not really a thought for me. I think
that was my point.
I would probably. Well, yeah, he's going the first 15 picks, so I feel like the name has to be thrown out there at least.
No, we don't.
Yo, I'm not gonna let y'all. Like, I'm not here to cake. But, hey, man, Mac Jones, all right, man. Like, you know, we gotta.
Mac Jones is Kirkland brand Kirk Cousins. Why are we doing this?
And you know, K-Lou, I'm so glad we're here. Fuck it, we're already recording, so why not stop? Let's just since we're here already.
It's already been 2 hours. Just go ahead, bro.
It's already been 2 hours. Me and Matt had this discussion last night while we were prepping, and I think it's a great conversation because I just want to talk about and I keep harping on this because it's something I've been thinking about a lot when we talk about the fates of these quarterbacks and how they will end up after all of this. And I said it earlier about how the NFL stinks at developing quarterbacks. They are not good at that. They failed more guys than they have. You know, so when we talk about shout out to Sporting News. It's an old list that's about a year old, which basically ranked the top 50 quarterbacks that have been drafted in the first round since 2000. Now, I'm going to give to the floor K-Lou and Matt. I mean, K-Lou and Raz, you know, feel free to just guess a couple numbers, and I can tell you where they rank on this list. My thing about this list is you have the top guys, which you know, but if we're talking about what the bar is for a good quarterback, that bar it goes away pretty damn quick. It actually like around like 12 or 13. I'm just like whoa. These are the best quarterbacks we've developed in the last 20 years. So please give me a couple numbers and I could tell you, or just like randomly we could talk about it, because I mean that's just it's blowing my mind to me about how trash the NFL is at developing quarterbacks. You guys all end up stalling by the time they get to the second contract for the most part. So please, let me get.
I need to interrupt the people because this is a fantasy podcast of all sports. We have another 12-5 upset in the works right now. Creighton is down by 6 with 5 minutes to go. Just for the people that are listening. But back to the quarterback list. Give me who's number 17 on the list, just for my edification.
Caleb, give me a number.
Number 20.
All right. So, like I said, these are ranking every quarterback since 2000. Number 20 on this list, Baker Mayfield. Now, keep in mind this list was from. Keep in mind this list is from a year ago. He had a good year, so like, does he rise?
Yeah, some of the guys that are ahead of him, yeah, I think he does.
Baker is at best like he's like an average quarterback to me, a little above average.
Yeah, he's above average.
Let's not shit on too much. Like that goes
he
back
had
to what you were talking about.
He had a
before.
good year in the offense where he wasn't being asked to do rocket science on that team. I'm not giving him that much credit for that.
What he was asked to do, that goes back to everyone's assistant quarterback. What he was asked to do, he did pretty well.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. When we talk about system quarterbacks, and it's just like, I mean, more credit to Baker, but 17 is Carson Palmer. You know what I'm saying? So like, if we're having a draft
to
quarterback,
Carson Palmer though,
like
Carson Palmer was good.
I'm actually surprised Carson Palmer's not a little higher. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not surprised.
Alex Smith is above him at 16. Jared Goff is 15.
Excuse me?
Jared Goff is 15. Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco is 14. Carson Wentz is 13. This is before I get into the 20.
Carson Palmer not ahead of them.
My beef isn't with the list. My beef is like we not really like developing great quarterbacks here. Like these are like Carson Palmer was pretty damn good for a minute, but like, bro, like this is a trend. Like the NFL is really bad at this, dog.
So where's Chad Payton? Like 12?
20 something. 19.
Oh my God.
The Jets have Chad Payton is 19 and Mark Sanchez is 22.
Oh
so you mean to tell me
that he's
Mark Sanchez is what?
Now because like Josh Allen was behind him last year, so like he's gonna be lower down.
Yeah,
drop him down a little bit, bro. Drop him down 5 spots. Drop him down 10 spots if you want. That still seems too high for Mark Sanchez. When I like just off the top of my head, I was just like, what the fuck?
Well, the bottom of the list is like fucking Jake Locker and I forgot who else.
Jamarcus, it's not good either down there. It's not. It doesn't get any better down there. But yeah, man, the NFL stinks at developing quarterbacks. We gotta just be aware of this. Next time when we talk about these busts, let's talk about the Mike McCagnons that wouldn't know football if anything happened. You know what I'm saying? Who wouldn't know a good quarterback if it was literally in their face?
First of all, fuck that guy. I think we can all agree there. He took what's his name? Hackenberg, right?
Yep.
Just to confirm. All right, yeah.
Ugh.
Did he?
He did.
Ugh.
Sean, are you still hitting on the Sporty News list, or are we good there?
Fuck that list. We can finish on our top. And, hold on, actually, yeah. Fuck sporting news. Because apparently, I'm bugging. Kaepernick was in the first round pick. That's what I was bugging. But all right, so yeah, we can finish off.
So I was talking Lawrence or the Fields. Because of his floor, I will take Trevor slightly. Although I do agree with the overriding point that the gap between Trevor, Justin, Zach, and Trey, and their ceilings especially, might not be as big as the perception is. 1 through 4 order, I'll go Trevor, 2A Fields, 2B Wilson, Lance 3.
Go ahead,
I think for me, oh boy. So, call me crazy, but I think all of these guys have an above 50% chance of being good, right?
Yo, this could be a really
that's what I'm saying. Like I think all of them have that. And it might not happen right away. I think right away you're gonna be able to see the fruit of picking Trevor Lawrence, right? He's also gonna be playing for Urban Meyer. So like, sure. Justin Fields.
How those Urban Meyer college quarterbacks work out. So I mean that could go either way, but he could call a play. Go ahead.
Justin Fields in maybe a Kyle Shanahan offense. I would like to see it. I'm a fan of it. You know, I think it could work with the right pieces around it. So I mean, it's all going to go about fit, right?
Where's your ideal fit for Fields, assuming the Jets don't take him? Because like the obvious one is to say that the hometown team, the Falcons, take him as
Atlanta. Yeah, Atlanta would be amazing. I think. Yeah, Arthur Smith, how he utilized Ryan Tannehill, who they're not the same athlete, but if just like elongated throwing motions, Tannehill has a pretty long windup when he's throwing. But you know, I think that's one thing that Arthur Smith in Tennessee did way better with him than, say, you know, the criminal otherwise known as Adam Gase didn't do with him in Miami. But you know, helping him get, you know, make more decisive reads and getting the ball out. So I definitely do.
I will say I liked Arthur Smith, and I think he deserved the job. But there were enough Titans games this year where that offense disappeared and went stagnant, and when he was way too. I know Derrick Henry is really freaking good, and I know you could trust him for 35 carries a game. But when you've got Ryan Tannehill playing at a top 10 level like he did this year, and weapons like A.J. Brown and Corey Davis and Jonnu Smith, I did think there were some games when he got way too far away from using his vertical passing game to where I was kind of all right with the fact that the Jets weren't really in on him. That's not to say he won't have success in Atlanta, but I don't, you know, when we talk about these upcoming offensive minds, I don't put him in the same class as someone like a LaFleur or a McVay or someone like that. Good, not great. Just my
play calling in the playoff game was embarrassing.
It was awful.
Yeah, but that wasn't the only example. But yes, the playoff game.
Oh yeah, for sure. But that was the latest example. It was so embarrassing. It's like, all right, run Henry left, run Henry right. Okay, he's averaging 2 yards a carry. Do something different.
Did Matt Nagy get fired?
No, he's still there.
No.
And so is Ryan.
What the fuck? I mean, I would like to see him with the Bears, but Matt Nagy would have to go. Honestly, if the fucking Saints were bad, then he would be a perfect landing spot there. You still on mute, Sean?
I love Fields. He ain't beating out Jay.
Yeah. Nah, probably not. But
so, do we think the Dolphins should be in on a quarterback at 3?
Probably, but people love Tua. Look, he needs to come to the Jets.
Not yet.
Who, Tua? He needs to go to the Jets. No, hell no. Fields.
Oh.
Fields. So to get back to my list, to get back before we go off on a tangent, I will go Fields because, and then not Fields, because then I'll go Fields. Then when I get to Wilson and Trey Lance, I'm like, fuck, because I like Trey Lance's upside, and I think he's really broke. But I think in the right situation, his ceiling is so much higher. So I would go Trey Lance and then Wilson, but none of them are bad. I think that's what it comes down to. None of them are bad. So it's just like if the Jets ended up with any, I don't think the Jets need to go Trey Lance. They're not going to develop him. We don't need to go Trey Lance. It has to go Wilson or Fields if I'm thinking for the Jets. But if I'm going with every other team, I'll go Lawrence, Fields, Lance, Wilson. Just built on like sturdiness because I think Wilson's just a very small guy. And that's how I would play it. But I think if I'm the Jets, it's Wilson or Fields, and I'm happy with either or. You just have to build a line around them.
The Jets are not. You know, I like Lance's upside too. The Jets are not in the position to take that kind of gamble. They're just not.
Yeah.
And you are 100% correct on that. And he's the ultimate ceiling play. And you know, like from what he showed, and the fact that he actually took care of the ball, I think that's like probably one of the best signs for Trey Lance to the next level. I think so. My top 4. Like I said, Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields are 1A, 1B for me. Like I said, I think I think Justin Fields has a case to go number one in his own right in other drafts, that aren't as loaded. Number 3, and then it's kind of interesting because what Zach Wilson did this year and what Trey Lance did last year, pretty damn impressive both in their own rights. They both have one amazing year, so it's kind of hard. It's it's a beauty in the eye of the beholder thing. I think Wilson has the advantage during on the run, but I think they both have pretty damn good arms, and I think even if we're talking about fantasy, Trey Lance might just be he might end up being like a cheat code or one of those guys that even if his throwing isn't up there, he has the capability to where he might be able to run for maybe 60, 70 yards a game in that Lamar territory, depending on how run heavy that North Dakota State offense.
Lamar?
Yes, I think he ran.
I know you're not saying that he runs like Lamar, but
he rushed for 1,200 yards. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's hot, but I think if we're talking fantasy, somebody who's not going to be drafted as a QB1, this is going to be pure upside.
Hey, cut the bull. We're not talking fantasy. We're talking real life rankings. Give it to us, Lance or Wilson.
I mean, it goes. This goes both ways because we talking.
Take the black man.
We talking first year player drafts too. So it's you're gonna be in the situation. I'm taking the black man though. You know that every time.
Black man.
They scout with their eyes. So do I. Fuck it. I ain't gonna shout out to Bill Foley. Justin Fields. I mean,
he is a wide receiver.
How many? I'm curious. How many QBs we think go in the top 10? I say 4, but that could go to 5.
I think 3.
Who would be the fifth?
3.
Mac Jones is going to get some consideration to go in the top 10.
I think Mac goes in the top 20, top 15, top 20.
But he's good. He's going in the first round easily. And I think he's going.
Mac Jones is not going to no top 10.
He's not. Mac Jones not falling past. I can see Mac Jones as a Denver quarterback. I can see Elway getting.
Actually, we're forgetting about them because they need to draft quarterback because Drew Lock.
Justin Fields.
Here Matt goes on Drew Lock. Here he goes.
Drew Lock is also. I'm glad you brought him up.
I'm shitty on the white man. I thought this would make you happy.
Hey! It's a little
Mr.
Drew Lock
outside, bro. It's time,
huh?
Mr. Softy outside. You know what that means.
It's a little Drew. It's a little Drew Lock and Zach Wilson too. But I'm gonna just leave that for the end. That's my scorcher. I'm gonna end on. But I think
somebody's smoking crack.
It's in there. I'm talking like athleticism. They're similar as athletes. I don't think Drew Lock can move. He can move around and put the video of him dancing to Jeezy put on and he has some moves, but as throwers, people got infatuated with Drew Lock. I was never. Matt, you can at least tell me I'm consistent. I was always consistent on the Carson Wentz thing. You know what I mean? From day one. I never really.
There was a time where you were wrong in 2017, but you have since been proven right in the big picture.
Even when I'm wrong, I'm right. You see, and that's what you love to see. Brad, you can't finish the show.
I mean, I got 2 points. 2 points. LeBron got hurt, which is a rare thing. So we